The past year has been transformative for Ambit. Chris spoke about Japan and all of our experiences over there. I'd like to talk a little bit about what entering Japan has meant for Ambit as a company. Our journey across the Pacific began in March of 2016, a month before the Japanese markets opened for deregulation. We began gathering as much information as we could online, and several white papers have been written, but one of them jumped out prominently because it included a picture of the Texas flag. Here's why. On March 11th, 2011, Japan, as Chris talked about, was shaken by a magnitude 9 earthquake. It was the largest earthquake to ever hit the nation. It shook for 6 long minutes and set off an enormous, savage tsunami. Japan's advanced earthquake early warning system gave residents of Tokyo a minute of warning before the strong shaking hit the city, and lives were saved everywhere when the system stopped high-speed trains and factory assembly lines. But the destruction from the tsunami that followed was absolutely overwhelming. Tsunamis are often pictured as giant waves, but waves have a trough and a crest and a trough, and they roll in and then quickly back out again. Tsunamis, however, are giant blocks of water. The largest tsunami waves hitting Japan in 2011 reached heights of 128 feet and traveled inland as far as 6 miles. Picture a 10-story tall block of water stretching back for 6 miles. A 30-foot tsunami smashed into the Fukushima nuclear power plant and caused a cooling system failure, which resulted in a nuclear meltdown at that plant. The severity of the meltdown wasn't revealed for several days. And when the Japanese people finally learned about it, they were outraged. They had been promised that the nuclear plants were safeguarded against earthquakes and tsunamis. Now, they feared radiation leaks and questioned everything. In response, the government shut down every nuclear power plant in Japan for inspection. And when the plants shut down, electricity prices soared and brownouts occurred. Soon after, the government decided to deregulate the industry and open it up for competition. They studied previous deregulations around the world and liked the success of the Texas deregulation model best of all. They chose to adopt Texas as their template, and that's why there was a Texas flag on that white paper we read. And that's when Chris, John, Lori, and I decided we quickly had to dig in a little bit further. And on the week of July 11th, which in my family is commonly referred to as 7-Eleven, it was a very good omen. 10 of us flew to Tokyo to explore. We had our subject matter experts who would be responsible for establishing their respective departmental activities in Japan. Meetings were set up in advance and everyone fanned out during the day. And we regrouped and talked at night. After a week of investigation, we returned to Dallas. We met in our 6th-floor conference room and tried to find reasons not to go to Japan. But in the end, we felt we had worked 10 years to accumulate people and expertise that very few others had. We were uniquely positioned to take advantage of this enormous opportunity to enter a market with over 80 million meters. As our friend Shakespeare said, there is a tide in the affairs of men, which taken at the flood leads on to fortune. Omitted, all the voyage of their life is bound in shallows and in miseries. On such a full sea, we are now afloat, and we must take the current when it serves or lose our ventures. The opening of Japan was an unexpected tide at the flood. It was the opening of the biggest window of opportunity we had ever seen. And we had to make a quick, pivotal decision. Ambit was floating in a unique position with many advantages. We're entrepreneurs. We build from scratch. We take risks even in clouds of ambiguity and uncertainty. We thrive on complex puzzles. We understand electricity. We understand direct sales. We understand fast growth companies. We have the best systems. we have the best people, and we have the best customer acquisition channel anywhere. All of you all. We have deep experience opening new markets, and we have a valuable reputation for having achieved the fastest growth trajectories in history in both the electricity and the direct sales industries. We have a 40-year family connection to Japan through 7-Eleven. And we have Chris and Leslie Chambliss, who are willing to sacrifice and move to Japan to make it all possible. And from all of us, Chris and Leslie, thank you so very, very much. Finally, we have great confidence in our people and in their abilities. We couldn't bear the thought that some other smaller company with far fewer advantages in Ambit, but exhibiting more courage and energy, might enter Japan and succeed beyond all expectations. We have stated repeatedly that in all aspects of business and life, you are either moving forward or slipping backwards. But nothing ever stays the same. And we've asked you repeatedly to avoid complacency, to keep moving forward. Now, we contemplated that same message for ourselves. And without hesitation, we decided that Ambit had to keep moving forward. And so our great adventure began. As Chris described, it has been the most difficult, complex, and challenging undertaking we have ever experienced. Here in the United States, if you're starting a company, you get the regulatory approvals first, and then do the work to enter the market. In Japan, we found out the hard way that you're not approved until you're deemed ready to enter the market. We had to quietly set up operations in advance of getting approvals. An office had to be established, employees had to be hired. We had to convince everyone to take a risk and work with us. A foreign company with no history in Japan and with no reassuring regulatory approvals in hand. Nothing was easy. Not the 14-hour time difference, not the geographic distance, not the enormous cultural difference, and not the language difference, where no doesn't always mean no, and yes doesn't always mean yes. We stayed up late into the nights. We ate slimy things that are still a mystery to us. We missed trains, got lost, arrived late, forgot business cards, didn't bow properly, but somehow over time, we were able to convince 40 different companies and agencies to negotiate and sign agreements with us that were critical to launching our business in Japan. And finally, after 8 long months, much longer than we originally expected, after much skepticism by many in Japan and by more than a few here in America, we received our regulatory approvals, and Ambit is now officially an international company. What does this mean for you? It means that Ambit came to a fork in the road and made a pivotal choice. And we chose to keep moving forward. And my hope is that each of you choose to keep moving forward as well, along with us. You know that I am somewhat conservative by nature, all these videos aside. But I will make a bet with anybody in this room that within 5 years, Ambit will be one of the top 10 direct selling companies in the world. But to get there, we have to wipe out complacency. You do, and we do. We can take nothing for granted because past success won't ever guarantee lasting future success. Not for any of you, and certainly not for Ambit. Every day, a new competitor is born. Every day, someone hungrier works hard to take our customers. There's always a gravitational pull to success, and as soon as you slow down, your trajectory bends back to earth, and you slip backwards. We have to work harder than our competition. We have to be the finest and most respected. We can never sacrifice integrity for growth, and we have to keep moving forward. And we're a different company today than we were 1 year ago. We discovered more about our people and our abilities. We have more confidence. We'll see more opportunities, and we will seize more opportunities. We're focused on helping you grow your businesses. We are reanalyzing all facets of our business, and will measure our success by the consultants and customers we attract and retain. And in spite of all of our excitement, all the discussion over Japan, the United States is and long will be our core business. We anticipate that a handful of new states will open over time. Last year, over 80% of Nevada's voters voted in favor of electricity deregulation. And for those of you who might be unfamiliar with Nevada, it's in the middle of the desert. It's really hot. Their air conditioners run all the time. And those casinos and their fantastic light displays are on all night long. They really like to use the electricity out there. They'll have another vote in November next year, which will pass yet again by an overwhelming majority. And then the transition to a deregulated marketplace will take place over the following 3 to 4 years. There's no timetable yet in California like there is in Nevada. But the Golden State is again exploring how to use deregulation to encourage the adoption of more solar and wind power, as well as to promote conservation in home batteries. More and more states will jump on the bandwagon. They see the success of how Texas advanced grid modernization, increased installation of renewable solar and wind energy, and universally deployed advanced smart meters. And it may be a few years off, but we see the deregulation pendulum swinging back in our favor once again. I mentioned earlier that we are examining all facets of our business to help you attract and retain more customers and more consultants. And Texas is a good example of that. Over the past few years, the structure of pricing plans in Texas has mostly shifted from a single all-inclusive rate to tiered energy-only rates tied to usage. It's complicated. Ambit has been offering traditional apples while our competitors began selling oranges. It was hard to compare, and we appeared, or actually were, uncompetitive. We're now conforming and changing our products to where the largest incumbents have taken the marketplace. And finding the optimal plan will take a little more homework, so we've created a tool to make it easy that recommends the best plan based on the customer's usage. It's now apples to apples again. And there's no question that we're very, very competitive here in Texas. Shifting to New York, the New York Public Service Commission is trying to reset the deregulated marketplace. The good news is that they love our guaranteed savings plan. It is one of 2 plans they'll permit if they have their way. All of our New York customers are already on a perpetual GSP plan. They are getting the lowest rates in the market, and they like it. Here, soon, is a slide of total customer complaints from the largest ESCOs in New York from January through May of this year. The incumbents have the most customers and far and away the most complaints. And even though Ambit has more customers than all the other competitive ESCOs on the bottom half of this list, we had the fewest complaints down here with only 18. That's something to be really excited about. We have the best rates and the highest customer satisfaction in New York. New York electricity is repositioned for fantastic growth. What do you all think about that? You will continue to see us make changes in other Northeastern markets that we believe will retain more customers and help your businesses continue to grow. And we're confident that the best is still yet to come up there. Which brings me to the topic of self-confidence. We all need a certain self-confidence to grow our businesses. Within Ambit, we needed that confidence to enter Japan. But what should we do when we wake up some days with a lack of confidence? Days when we don't feel good about ourselves and who we are. We tried something and failed. We got rejected by someone. We no longer have the confidence of our youth. Or maybe you grew up in a home that never let you develop confidence, so you never really had it. Maybe we feel like we don't measure up to others. Or maybe we feel like we don't measure up to our own expectations. Instead of saying, you can do this, your mind whispers, don't blow this. Confidence is critical to everyone's success. Confidence is a willingness to try even when you don't have all the answers and there is a risk of failure. We have seen repeatedly here at Ambit that confidence is not a personality trait that you're born with. Rather, it's built over time. Our most successful people have a bias for action rather than a bias for thinking. It's not that our leaders don't think. They do, or at least I think they do. Rather, they avoid overthinking. Overthinking can destroy confidence. Overthinking is creating a list of all the reasons why not to try, not to take that chance, not to risk failure. It's paralysis through analysis. Instead of counting down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go, we count up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and on and on and on. We're afraid to start. Everyone here has the capacity for true self-confidence. Everyone here has at least one thing that they can do really, really well. And you're very confident about your ability to do that one thing. And if you don't know what that one thing is, just ask your mother or father or your best friend. It's a confidence that was built up through practice and repetition. But how do we start building or rebuilding our confidence on those tough days? How do we overcome those inner fears and whispers and doubts? What do we do when we're scared of failure and afraid of not measuring up? We may want to go retreat and hide, and that is the last thing we should do. What we all need more than anything at those times is to be surrounded by people who believe in us, who boost our confidence, who encourage us, especially at that moment of truth, as that moment of truth draws near. We need someone to smile into our eyes and say, you can do this. You're going to succeed. You were made for this. This is your calling. I'm with you. Call me anytime. You look great today. I love that dress. That tie is fantastic. I'll help you. These are the people you should surround yourself with, and these are the types of people you find at Ambit. This is your Ambit community. Use it. Take advantage of it and give back to it. Keep your relationships with positive people and be an encourager for others. And your confidence will grow from mastering tasks over a long period of time. And that requires consistency and perseverance. With your Ambit community support and perseverance, that confidence you were looking for will reappear and grow. And you and your team will be running down that path to success. One last thought. How should we handle success? As so often happens here in Texas, the answer can be found in a country western song. Every time this one comes on, I reach down and turn up the volume. It's Humble and Kind by Tim McGraw, and he sings, hold the door, say please, say thank you. Don't steal, don't cheat, and don't lie. When the dreams you're dreaming come true to you, let yourself feel the pride, but always stay humble and kind. Don't take for granted the love this life gives you. When you get where you're going, don't forget to turn back around and help the next one in line. Always stay humble and kind. You're never alone on this journey. Let's always be humble and kind and give thanks for the blessing we have received. Let's pray for the wisdom to know what is right, the courage to choose what is right, and the strength to do what is right. We're grateful to you for another incredible year. We enjoy your friendship and always appreciate your support. Thank you very, very much. God bless you all. Thank you.
What an amazing week this has been, guys. Unbelievable. It is so good to be back home.
You know what you're putting in your mouth. It's been a week of inspirational stories, training for the best in our business, and recognizing the up-and-coming leaders in Ambit.
As always, we thank each of you who took time to join us to invest in your business. And I'd like to give special thanks to our special guests from Ambit Japan.
You know, but before we go, I think we have just one more announcement.
Guys, we are very excited about our second international market. But what I can tell you is that the people who benefited from our expansion to Japan the most are the people who built the biggest businesses right where they were. So you got to keep building locally to see how far it can take your business. It could take you to Japan or to Canada.
Enjoy your achievements. We're proud of you. Have fun tonight at the grand finale. Thank you very much.
We wish you all the best and much success in the rest of this year. Have a great night.